Recreation for the University of Alabama, working out of the Student Recreation Center. A little bit about myself. I've been working in the outdoor rec discipline for about 25 years now. Started guiding in the rivers of southern Missouri back in 1996, 1997, and kind of continued my path towards a collegiate career over a long period of time. But today we're going to be talking about wellness, and specifically finding wellness in outdoors. Let's start off with the science of it. Well, let's talk about what is wellness. So we break it down in the outdoors into physical, mental, and community whenever we start talking about finding wellness in the outdoors. Most people think about the physical side of the house. So you're outside, you're getting dirty, you're sweaty, you're hiking up a mountain. But this can take a more sciencey route. And so studies have shown that being outside in nature is relaxing, reducing our stress, cortisol levels, muscle tension, and heart rates, all of which are risk factors for cardiovascular disease. Let alone the fact that just being outside and being physical is very, very good for the well-being of our bodies. It's also a huge benefit for the mental side of the house as well. And that's kind of where I'm going to focus on for the next couple of slides, because most of us on a day-to-day basis, we're behind a desk, we're in a chair, and we don't get outside very often into the green spaces that we have around us. So for the mental side of the house, the studies have shown that there's lowering risk of depression, faster psychological stress recovery, and as well as strengthening mental capacities and increasing focus and attention just by being outside for 10 to 15 minutes during the day, which is really cool because, out here at the University of Alabama, we do have more green spaces than what people think. And even though we are on a busy campus, there's a lot of people, a lot of cars moving around, we still can find some more secluded spaces on campus. But beyond that, we start looking at community. So within the outdoor realm, there's all sorts of communities out there, whether you like hiking or birding or biking or climbing. And you can find a lot of these organizations and groups online, and they host sometimes weekly meetings, sometimes monthly meetings, sometimes bigger outings per month or maybe a couple of times a year. So the resources are really there for you to kind of spread the wings and fly in whatever direction that you want to go. All right. Cropped up a couple of studies here just so I'm not talking out of my ear holes here. A 2015 study by Stanford showed that those that went outdoor and enjoyed nature experienced positive emotions and less anxiety. Here in the thick of the semester, I think we could all, experience some positive emotions and less anxiety, myself included. Experience have also shown that being exposed to natural environments improves working memory, cognitive flexibility, and attention control, while exposure to urban environments are linked to attention deficits. We see that a lot within professional working staff that, again, they sit behind a desk all day, they're firing off emails or answering phone calls, interaction on a day-to-day basis. We have so much thrown at us on a daily basis that a lot of times we can start losing that attention to detail that we can find outdoors. From here, another study stated that just being exposed to a picture of being outdoors or in a green space can actually help lower your cortisol levels, as well as kind of reestablish that attention to detail that sometimes we do lack in our day-to-day lives. So let's take a moment. Let's enjoy a green space for a moment. Get a sip of coffee while I lower my cortisol levels. So this location is up in Bankhead National Forest. And if you've never had a chance to go up there and just drive around a little bit and see the sights, it's a pretty unique area. It's about a 90-minute drive straight north of campus. And it's technically a national forest, but it's not real well established. But it's also known as the land of waterfalls, which is really cool. If you go up there during the spring, generally you can find some really neat secluded spaces that you can go and recenter yourself. Hopefully everyone is feeling a little bit more relaxed. All right, how to wellness. Whenever people think about recreating in the outdoors, they usually think of like Alex Honnold climbing El Capitan out in Yosemite without any ropes, or they think of people like jumping off of waterfalls and the more extreme side of the house. But actually, recreating in the outdoors can really take a whole bunch of different facets depending on what you want, and it's really kind of a choose your own adventure. So up here is a list of just a whole bunch of disciplines that outdoor recreation encompasses. So it can be as simple as going outside into a green space and meditating, reading a book, all the way up to mountaineering, to canoeing, to skiing, to kayaking, the whole 9 yards. So you can make it as crazy as you want it to be, or as low-key and meditative as you want it to be. And it just really depends on what you're looking for. For myself, I really gravitate towards water sports, so the canoeing, the kayaking, whitewater rafting, that sort of thing. For other people, it's rock climbing, or for other people, it's biking, whether that be road biking or mountain biking. And some people are really drawn towards the meditative side of the house, yoga, just taking a moment to sit outside and eat your lunch in a green space, that sort of thing. So the outdoors really encompasses all of the spectrum whenever it comes to how we actually find it. All right, where can you find these things? I've listed up just a couple of places, local venue and as well as statewide, and we'll talk about a different specific locations a little bit later on. Really, it's all over, and you just have to look for it. The Riverwalk down near Manderson Landing is a great spot because it's close to campus. If you have a little bit of time during lunch break, you can go down there, sit on one of the benches, and watch the beautiful Black Warrior River flow by. That's also a good place to bring dogs as long as they're on a leash, as well as the biking side of the house. So you see a lot of people recreating down there, a lot. One source for places around Tuscaloosa and Tuscaloosa County is PARA, and that's the Tuscaloosa County Parks and Recreation Authority. And hopefully it'll let me do links. And here is the PARA website, and it's got all of their different locations on a map. If we zoom in here, you notice that they don't have a lot going on around the University of Alabama, like inside University of Alabama, but all around the outside, there's different parks and different locations to find. One of my favorite spots, because it's really close to campus, is Hurricane Creek. We do day hikes out there with some of our students. I'll take my daughter out there from time to time. We'll go play in the creek. So it's a really fun place to go. Sometimes it does get a little bit busy on the weekends, but it's usually a pretty peaceful place. They have a couple of mountain biking trails out there as well. And it's a really easy, short drive to get there, and it's a pretty fun place. But any of these different locations, you click on it, generally they're going to have maps involved, locations, where to park. If there are any fees to enter into the parks, they're going to have that as well. Cool. I have a couple of different para-managed locations up there, like Lake Nickel. Most of us have heard about that. It's a great place to go out and have a picnic for the day, enjoy the green space, look at the lake. We just did a program for New College. We took out about 20 of their students out there for just a simple rental. We brought out a bunch of boats. They had a picnic. It was a pretty good time. If you want to go a little bit further off the beaten path, Lake Harris, I've got a slide showing the Lake Harris Spillway. I think it's my next slide. It's a little bit farther drive. You have to drive on some gravel roads out there, but you don't run into the crowds that you do at Lake Nickel, and so it's a little bit more secluded. If you are into the mountain biking side of the house, Sokol Park has a beautiful plethora of mountain biking trails out there you can go and enjoy. Vandegraff Park and Arboretum is just north of town. It's near the Northport Airport, and good place to go. There's a few hiking trails, a lot of green space to just go and enjoy the outdoors. Excuse me. UA Arboretum is located east of campus, out near the VA hospital. Another place, it's free for entry. You can go and you can follow the paths around. Lake Lorraine State Park is just northwest of town. It does cost to enter there, but they've got a whole bunch of mountain biking trails and just hiking trails, as well as campsites. Generally during the football time of the year, it's kind of hard to find campsites out there, but during the spring especially, it gets pretty dead. Now statewide, Alabama has a lot more to offer than just what people think. This is just a short list of a whole bunch of different locations out there that you can go. Bankhead National Forest, I've already talked about that a little bit, also called the Sipsey Wilderness, 90 miles north of town, and a good place to do just multi-sports. They've got campsites, hiking trails, horse packing if you're into equestrian side of the house, as well as canoeing as well. There's a good Sipsey River and provides a good day trip option. Cahaba River watershed is south of town, and it is famous for the Lily Run. So every year, starting about mid-May through June, they have the water lilies that pop up. And they're beautiful white flowers that stick above the river about 3 feet, and you paddle down through them. So Gulf Shores, if you want to go explore the coast, good place to go get your beach time in. Again, that's all outdoor recreation. You're outside in the great outdoors, even though there's nice town amenities that are close as well. Talladega National Forest, just past Birmingham, another national forest that you can go, and there's a whole bunch of backpacking and hiking trails in there. The Penote Trail is there as well, so if you're into the backpacking side of the house, a little bit more extreme. There is one of the hidden gems within the backpacking realm. People liken it to the Appalachian Trail. And then the massive Tennessee River, as it winds its way through Alabama, there's so many different lakes from where they've dammed the river to different moving sections. So it's really the sky's the limit for that style of recreation. I have to say it's kind of weird not being able to see anyone. I usually can interact with y'all a little bit more. So this is kind of one of my first ones. Like the Riverwalk, it's really, really close to campus. And sometimes it does get a little bit more busy. The Randall Family Park Path is just across the river in Northport. And it is a 2.3 mile out and back trail. It's an easy route. It takes about 41 minutes to complete for hiking, walking, running. You can bring your dog along as long as it's on a leash. But it's a free park to go to, and it's within a mile of campus. So it's a really kind of low-key area to just go get a walk in on the weekends or right after work. If you need to go get out some of the sitting in the chair all day anxiety. I'm gonna subject you all to a picture of my daughter. So this is Lake Harris. It's one of my favorite places to take my daughter, and the trail is called the Lake Harris Spillway, and it's about a mile and a half out there. It is over a little bit more rough terrain, but hardly anybody is ever out there. And what I suggest is pack a lunch, take a blanket, go out there and sit next to the spillway. It's just a man-made waterfall. And you can just sit there and be in the green space and really find some really cool things to look at. It's a pretty beautiful area. So about 33 minutes to complete for a little bit more of the adventurous soul. Excuse me. But it's easy. It's fairly close to Tuscaloosa, and it's not as extreme as most people think about. All right, online resources. And it's like, how do you find these places? How do you actually find the places to go recreate? One of the easiest is alltrails.com. If you're just looking for simple hiking trails or backpacking trails in any place within the United States, and they're branching out to some international locations, you can just put on the location that you want to go to, and it'll actually pull up all of the trails that are in that area. Alabama State Parks, Outdoor Alabama, and so that lists all of the state parks that you can go to, the fees that are associated, whether there's camping there, any of the activities that are there. They also do the hunting and fishing side of the house as well. So if you need to get permits or anything like that, or find information about those different recreational activities. I'm a river runner at heart, so American Whitewater is one of those places that I turn to. If you want information on any of the reaches that they have data on, river flows, like what class of water, is it going to be crazy whitewater? Is it going to be a simple class 1 paddle? American Whitewater is a good place to look for that information. For climbing, if there are any climbers out there, Mountain Project is a place to go. They do all of the United States and international, so you can find different areas that climbers go to, different routes, and at least give you an idea of where you can find decent climbing around the United States. Mountain biking, Mountain Bike Project, ntbproject.com. A lot of people will post up the routes that they've done, or different reaches that they've run, anything like that on Mountain Bike Project. Then one that I'm not really familiar with, but my students are going nuts about it, is Komoot, or Komoot, something like that. I'll figure out how to pronounce it here before too long. And this is an area where people log their own trips, and so they'll put on the location, what discipline they were recreating in, as well as like how difficult the trail is, whether it was road bike, mountain bike, running, whatever. All right. So like I said at the beginning of this, it's a choose your own adventure. And as you go down through this, you have to understand kind of like what your limitations are, and kind of what your goal is, and whether that is meditating in a park, perfect. Is that getting the training to go on a multi-day expedition? Perfect. It just depends on what you're looking for. So a lot of people love the solo treks, or being out there just by themselves, like no one else there. They can really connect with nature. They can find a lot of those physical and mental benefits just by being by themselves and kind of reconnecting with nature. But again, the other side of the house is a lot of people go in groups, and this is the more safe option, depending on what you're doing. And sitting in the park generally is going to be fairly safe. But if you're going to go on a hike in a fairly remote area, it's good to go in with a couple of people that you know and trust, just in case you do twist an ankle or something like that. So that's kind of the first choice, is whether you want to go solo or whether you want to go in a group. Going with a group can be beneficial as well. You start to build more of that community feel. A lot of times those people are there, and you can talk to them about problems, or they can help you with stepping over into that wellness realm. A lot of folks that don't have a lot of experience kind of tend towards guided adventures, and so this is where you're with a group of people. It could be a custom group where it's all of your friends and you contract through a guiding service, or you sign up through a public site and you go with a whole bunch of people that you don't know. What this does and what this gives you is kind of that support structure. So the guiding service generally takes care of all the logistics. You don't have to worry about planning your food out. You don't have to worry about the equipment, that sort of thing. And so it really takes a lot of that stress that we're trying to get rid of. It takes it off your shoulders and makes it a little bit easier. Do a shameless plug here. So Up here are the trips and clinics that we offer through University Recreation. So we are open to the public, so anyone can hop on any of these trips or any of the training avenues that we have available. And this is just up for this semester. Give you a second to kind of read through that, and I'll talk about a couple of the fun ones. So this weekend we're coming up on our first training aspect for climbing. It's called Gym to Crag, and this is where we're going to take students and teach them everything that they need to know to climb outside. The other one, kind of on the other side of the house, is a day hike to Chiaha. So it's in Talladega National Forest, and it's going to be a fun day trip to go out. They're going to view a couple of waterfalls. It's going to be about 5 to 6 miles of hiking, and it's a good avenue for people just to get out of Tuscaloosa for a day and go spend it in the wilderness. So the cost that you see there, that is for members of University Recreation. So all students are members. If you have a membership to the Student Recreation Center, that's the cost. But we do take outside folks as well. So if you don't have a membership, it's just going to be a little bit more. So generally about the cost of what it would be to get a day pass for the recreation center. We do custom trips as well. So if you and 3 of your closest friends want to go hiking in the Sipsey, you give me a call. We can build out your trip however you would like, and we take care of all the heavy stuff. So you get to just go have fun. If you're into the more long-term stuff, we do have backpacking expeditions. We go to the Appalachian Trail a couple times a year. And this year we're going to go play on the French Broad in North Carolina. So that's going to be a 4-day canoe trip out there. So again, all of this stuff is available up online, urec.sa.edu, or you just give me a call and say, hey, Cliff, I want to go have some fun in the outdoors. If you are in that solo category, if you're in the group category, and you've got the skills, expertise, you know how to set up a tent, you know how to camp, but you just need the equipment, I'm going to do a second shameless plug. You can come by, and we do have all of this stuff for rent, and anything that you need from backpacking to canoeing. We do rent out some climbing stuff like crash pads and helmets, that sort of thing. We do have mountain bikes and road bikes as well, for cheaper than you're going to find pretty much anywhere else. So if you're just looking for the equipment side of the house, come by and see us. We can get you sorted out. We're also here as a resource. So if you're just looking into a location and you want to see if anybody has like personal experience on the trail or has been there and knows kind of the conditions of it, you can give us a call. And generally, one of my staff or myself, we've been to a lot of these locations, and we can help get you sorted out. So education and training. This can be as simple as guided meditation in the woods, to leave no trace techniques, to full-on like climbing courses. The people that supply these educational opportunities are all over the place. So it's another choose your own adventure. So if you want to go through LNT training, you just Google LNT, leave no trace, and generally you can find a course nearby, or you can find online courses if you want to know more about environmental impacts of recreation. Or if you want to find a mindfulness and wellness training, those are up online as well. For ourselves, we do a little bit of education and training. It's one of the programs that we're starting to dabble a little bit more in because people are asking for it. So if you're ever interested, give me a call, and I can usually get you pointed in the right direction. But at the end of the day, it is all challenge by choice. I'm going to steal this from Project Adventure. So it can be as much or as little as you want. And that's the beauty of the outdoors. Whenever we're trying to find our benefits for our physical wellness, our mental wellness, and our community. So it's just however much you want to put in. and however much you want to get out of it. It's all up to you, which is one of the really fun things about playing in this realm. So I'll leave it up there. Let's see if I can't find. I'm going to see if I can't open up the chat and potentially have any questions, comments, concerns, and considerations.